What is post-closing liquidity in New York City real estate? This is an interesting phrase, which is commonly utilized when referring to co-op apartments. We will demystify this topic in the following video. I am Nick at Hauseit. We are New York City's largest for sale by owner and buyer agent commission rebate company, established in 2014. Visit us at hauseit.com to learn about ways to save money when buying and selling in New York City. If you have any specific questions, leave us a comment below the video or send us an email, team@hauseit.com. Now let's get started. Post-closing liquidity. What is it? Well, post-closing liquidity is a measure used primarily by co-ops to estimate how much money in liquid assets you have left over after you close on a co-op apartment, having paid your down payment, having taken care of your closing costs as well. The purpose of post-closing liquidity is to allow a co-op board to essentially gauge how risky you are as a buyer, especially when it comes to the possibility of a job loss sometime in the future. If, for example, you have 1 year of post-closing liquidity, it means that you have 12 months worth of your co-op's monthly maintenance payment and your mortgage payment in liquid assets to your name. More specifically, if your co-op maintenance is $2,000 and your mortgage is $4,000, that's $6,000 a month. Therefore, 1 year of post-closing liquidity is 6,000 times 12, which is $72,000. Most co-ops in New York City like prospective purchasers to have between 1 and 2 years of post-closing liquidity. The reality is that if you're buying an expensive place in New York City, it probably means you have a high-paying job. And if you have a high-paying job, it means that it might be quite difficult for you to find a comparably high-paying job if you suffer a job loss. And that really is the fundamental principle driving the co-op board approval process when it comes to the analysis of post-closing liquidity. Having 2 years of post-closing liquidity, for example, would literally mean that you would not need to have a job for 2 years, and you would still be able to completely meet all of your obligations when it comes to paying your co-op's maintenance and paying your mortgage. Why does this matter? Well, it matters to the co-op a great deal, and that's because both in a co-op or a condo, if one owner stops paying their maintenance, it means that the other owners in the building have to make up the difference. If you're in a small building, say 10 apartments, what happens when one person stops paying? What if that becomes 2? What if that becomes 3? And what if 2 of those 3 have legitimate issues in finding a new job? Post-closing liquidity will allow a cushion for this potential co-op purchaser to figure out what they want to do in their life and continuing to pay their co-op's obligations in the meantime. Perhaps this person will decide they need to sell. Selling in New York City for a co-op can take 6 months or more. So post-closing liquidity mitigates the risk that other shareholders in a co-op will have to be stressed financially as a result of the delinquency of one or more of the members of the co-op community. How is post-closing liquidity measured? What assets qualify as post-closing liquidity? Well, this is a very good topic, and the reason is that many co-ops have different rules as to what they will be permitting you to consider as post-closing liquidity. For example, the strictest co-op might actually only permit cash and cash equivalents to be utilized. These include straight cash, such as in a checking account or a savings account, certificate of deposit, or a money market fund that is FDIC insured. These strict co-ops will not allow you to utilize any of your 401k or any of the other assets you might have to your name to make up this differential, even if you have millions of dollars in your retirement account. A more reasonable co-op will allow you to count perhaps some or all of your 401k, a SEP IRA, or other sort of less liquid assets that might be tax deferred or tax advantaged. So if you're looking to buy a co-op and your numbers are close, ask your buyer's agent to check with the building, to check with the listing agent, what assets will qualify as being part of post-closing liquidity. Does the building require 1 year or 2 years? The final consideration is to remember that when it comes to post-closing liquidity, it will also include any other recurring liability payments you make on a monthly basis. For example, student loans, a car lease. These items show up on your credit report, and therefore it is considered to be part of your monthly operating expenses, non-discretionary. Therefore, if you have a car lease that's $800 a month, Unfortunately, that will need to be factored in when it comes to calculating both your post-closing liquidity as well as your debt-to-income ratio. We hope you found this video helpful. I'm Nick at Hauseit. If you're looking to buy a co-op or if you need a buyer's agent, we'd love to hear from you. You can save up to 2% through a Hauseit buyer closing credit when purchasing a co-op in New York. So if you are interested, check us out, hauseit.com, or send us an email, team@hauseit.com. And finally, if you like this video, if you appreciate the content and want to see more of it, please like the video and please subscribe. We'd love to hear from you.